Well, students of class Earth, we are going to discuss today about the second chapter of history, the British power in India. Few topics we have studied in previous lecture. Just today, we are going to study about the East India Company. First of all, the East India Company came to India under Captain William Hawkins, under the leadership of uh, Captain William Hawkins, and the company sailed into the port of Surat on 21st August 1608. 24th August 1608. At that time, Surat was the main Mughal port, and Hawkins, after established their trade in Surat, Hawkins succeeded in getting certain concessions from the Mughal Emperor Jahangir, and thereafter the English East India Company had established a trading post in Surat in 1609. During that period, in 1615, Thomas Roe appointed as the ambassador to the court of Jahangir, and he was being there till 1619. During this period, Thomas Roe received the permission from Jahangir to establish more factories and trade in India. That's why the English East India Company not only stayed in Surat but also established factories at other places such as Bharuch and Ahmedabad. First factory in South India was established in 1611 in Masulipatanam. In eastern India, the first factory was established in 1633 at Balasore, Odisha, and in 1651 at Hooghly, Bengal. Meanwhile, the English strongly developed their power and established presidency towns of Madras, Bombay, and Calcutta. At that time, Bombay was under the control of Portuguese. But in May 1661, the British Prince Charles II married to a Portuguese princess, Catherine of Braganza, and got Bombay at dowry. In 1717, they got an order from the Mughal Emperor Farrukhsiyar to develop the trade in Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha on the payment of a nominal sum of amount. Through trade concession, whatever got from different rulers, the English East India Company made a huge profit. They bought raw materials from India and exported it to Europe. Thereafter, struggle for power. We know that before East India Company, there are several foreign traders came to India. There are several foreign traders came to India. In them, the Portuguese, Dutch, French, and Britishers. And Britishers. So, during 17th and 18th centuries, England and France, who had been the traditional rivals in Europe and fought several wars, when their political and economic ambitions clashed in India. That's why in the middle of 18th century the English were being victorious. These wars are known as Carnatic Wars. The Carnatic Wars, which was a series of three wars fought between 1744 to 1763, manifested the diplomatic and military struggle between French East India Company and the English East India Company. The coastal Carnatic region, a dependency of Hyderabad, became the battleground of this struggle. The First Carnatic War starts in 1744 and ends in 1748. The First Carnatic War had its origin in Europe when a war broke out between England and France in 1742. The war in India also started when the British supported the Nawab of Carnatic captured some French ships. The French replied by capturing Fort St. George in Madras, and in 1748 the war ended in Europe, and with this the First Carnatic War also came to an end. It means that when the war starts in Europe between England, between the British and French, then its effect came to India, and here the French in English, the French East India Company and the English East India Company both were started to fight in 1744, and when the war ends in 1748 in the Europe, the First Carnatic War also ended, and in India the battleground of the First Carnatic War was in Hyderabad. The Second Carnatic War, which starts in 1749 and ends in 1754. The Second Carnatic War started after the death of the rulers of both Carnatic and Hyderabad. In the War of Succession that broke out, the British and the French sided with opposite group in Carnatic and Hyderabad. When the rulers of Carnatic and Hyderabad were dead, then there a struggle started for succession, and the British and French both were on opposite group in Carnatic and Hyderabad. In the Carnatic, the two contenders were Chand Sahib, who was supported by the French, and Muhammad Ali, who was supported by the British. In Hyderabad, the British supported Nasir Jung, while the French sided with Muzaffar Jung. Initially, it means that the French succeeded in placing their supporters on the two throne in 1749, but in 1751, however, the British troops under Civil captured Accord. Lord Clive's success led to additional victories for the British and their allies. The war ended with the Treaty of Pondicherry signed in 1754. So, the result of the Second Carnatic War was a signed treaty under the active leadership of the British, of the leader of the active of the leader of sorry of the leader the um, of the leader of the English East India Company, Robert Clive. Under his active leadership, the result of the Second Carnatic War was a signed Treaty of Pondicherry, which was signed in 1754, and it was the time to end of the Second Carnatic War. The Third Carnatic War. Yeah. The Third Carnatic War, which was started in 1756 7, and ended in 1763. The result of the 7 Years' War in renewed conflict between French and the British forces in India, which was leading to the Third Carnatic War. The British forces captured the French settlement of Chandernagore in 1757. The British commander Ayr Coutte decisively defeated the French under the Count de Lally at the Battle of Vandivos in 1760. So the war concluded with the signing of a Treaty of Paris in 1763. As per the terms of this treaty, Chandernagore and Pondicherry were returned to France. It was a treaty under which the Chandernagore and Pondicherry was returned to the French by the British, and the French were allowed to have factories in India, but they were stopped from fortifying them. The French agreed to accept British protection in India. The treaty ended the French ambition of building an Indian empire and made the British a dominant foreign power in India. Thank you, beta. After that, we have to study about the British conquest of Bengal.